Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Eden and 2019 draws near, which means it is time to reflect back on all that was 2018. And I know this isn't the case for everyone. In fact, people near and dear to me have had a really rough year. But for me, 2018 was the best year of my life. 2018 was a year full of new experiences, traveling, and just so much that I don't think I can get it all into this one video. I guess I'll start with January. January 9th, I boarded a plane headed to Barcelona, Spain, where I studied for a semester. And wow, I highly recommend anyone to study abroad because not only do you get to learn so much about the culture and see the world, but you really learn a lot about yourself. I came back with a lot of confidence and a lot of new ideas. My brain's just bursting with everything from Spain and the other countries I was able to visit while I was there. I was very fortunate that I could travel while I was abroad. So I took a photography class while I was over there, which was super fun, and I took a field trip type of course. It was for a history credit, but we met at a different place in the city every class period and got to just look at what was around us and what the history was, which was really neat. I really appreciated the professors over there as they just had a different spark of life in them and made my learning experience very enjoyable. I stayed with a host mom, Senora Marie, and she cooked for me and gave me a place to stay and was always welcoming for me to come home and chat with me in Spanish, and I really miss her. And I went with a program, Academic Studies Abroad, ASA, and the directors there, Richard and Marta, were just so helpful, and Marta was so sweet. And then of course I met other friends I got to travel with. I went abroad without knowing anyone, which was kind of intimidating. Those first couple weeks, it was this feeling of, what am I doing? Like, I need to get it all in. I don't want to waste any of my time. You're immersing yourself, you're meeting all these new people, finding a new schedule, a new sleeping period, new foods. Everything's a little, oh, what's happening? And I had to just tell myself, it's okay not to see everything in your first night there. You're gonna be here a while, take a breath and enjoy. And boy did I. I was also able to travel to a lot of other countries, the first being Andorra, the small little country between Spain and France. Went skiing in the Pyrenees, which was quite an adventure. I went on a trip with a program to Sevilla, Spain, and we got to go to a flamenco show and just see what that city had to offer. And then I went to Morocco for a weekend, and wow, I was in Africa. I wasn't expecting that. Morocco is a very unique country in itself. I got to go to the blue city of Chefchaouen, which was just so lively and vibrant and different from anything else I had experienced. Got to ride a camel and learn a lot of the history. Overall, being in Europe and just, it really brought the history books to life, and World War II especially, as Morocco and Spain and all these countries had their own take on what to do and how to respond. I also went to the Netherlands and stayed with some family friends, Anne and Hans, and they were the best guides you could ever have. And I was able to go to the Anne Frank house, which, wow, I don't even have the words to even dive into what that experience was like. And you couldn't take pictures, and so I did buy a postcard, so I have that memory. But just as someone who likes to write myself, and how she poured all of her hardships into her diary and wanted to be a journalist and had all these same aspirations that I do, but how her life was drastically different than mine, it really put things into perspective and brought that story. It was real. I was in the very house that she was, and that's something that just you don't get if you don't travel. I had so many great travel opportunities this year. And then I got to go to the tulip fields and see wooden shoes and all the typical Dutch things. Stroopwafels and puffages. And they are the friendliest people on earth, I swear. And then the second half of my spring break, I went to the island of Tenerife in the Canary Islands, and we just soaked in some sun. We got to go whale watching, and we came across a pod of pilot whales. That was just so cool, and I love the water. And I turned 20 this year, had a great birthday, and then my mom was able to come and visit me in Spain. And that really meant a lot because I had all these stories and experiences, but I was gonna come home to people who didn't share that with me. So to have my mom get to experience it with me and to have that slight little inkling and understanding of what I was all taking in just really was special. And we went all around on the different mountains in Barcelona and to all the different shows. It was so fun and good mother-daughter bonding time. I also went to Croatia for a weekend, got to go whitewater rafting, and the water is so pure in Croatia. I didn't even know this was like on my bucket list, but it was once I was able to do it. You could drink from the river. It was that clean, and it was so refreshing and cold and natural, and that was a moment. It was a moment. Croatia is stunning. I'd love to go back. All of these places I went, I'd love to go back. The world is so big. There are so many new places that I don't know how you can get it all in, because you can't. It's just so grand and so exquisite. The world is just a masterpiece. It really is. I took my finals and wrapped up, and my program ended, and I had to say goodbye to all my newfound friends. Luckily, one of my really good friends, Claire, lives in Minnesota too, and so we're able to keep in contact. But that's one thing I've learned this year, is that sometimes you are friends for only a certain time in your life, and you mean a lot to each other at that period, and then you move on, and you always have those memories. But I guess I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with that, of these passing moments. I'm someone who does not like change, and this year I really let go. I embraced the new and unknown. I think that was important for me, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. And then at the end of the semester, I traveled on my own, and I went to London, and I got to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on the West End, and it was just so fun because, you know, Harry Potter come to life. I'm not a big fan of the storyline, but seeing it on stage, it was just magical. And I did all the walking tours and took in all the facts, and I went on the Harry Potter walking tour as well. And then I went to Paris and visited a high school friend of mine, Katie, and she brought me all around, and it's just so special to share that with someone, to have a travel buddy. And I got to go to the Louvre and to the Sistine Chapel. I stayed with her French family that she was an au pair for. Got to try some French food, and Paris, it is lovely. And then I went to Rome because Italy is my top travel destination. And I stayed at a hostel just a little outside of Rome, and so I was able to kind of get both sides of it. Rome is just a historical fortress. Everything there is just brilliant. I mean, we owe so much to the Romans and their forward thinking with roads and infrastructure and aqueducts and all of that. And I was able to take a day trip to Pompeii, which third grade me was squealing about. I was obsessed with that story. And to just see everything that was uncovered from that eruption, how advanced they were, really. It was just a really neat day. And my hostel had a pasta party and had authentic Italian pasta. So good. Got to visit the Colosseum. I'd love to go back to Italy and to Rome and everywhere. My spring was an adventure of a lifetime. And then I flew back to the US and I got to see all my family and friends. I threw a little Spanish fiesta to hear some stories of my time abroad. And then I had a week and I was off to an internship in St. Louis, Missouri. I was very fortunate to have that internship, and I met some more wonderful people and the other interns that were there and my coworkers, and I felt like I had very meaningful work, and I was able to write a little bit more this summer and actually write material that the company was going to use. And the interns, we had a great time. We went to Six Flags, we had intern dinner nights, we went to the baseball games. I was also able to do yoga every week. We got to go to the Muni, which is a big outdoor theater in St. Louis. I love musicals, and so that was super fun. And again, I met some amazing people. And at the end of the summer, we had to say goodbye. And trying to keep those relationships going when we're across the country from each other is hard, but I also cherish all of our memories we have together. I participated in Booktubeathon again this year, which is always such an exciting time, and I'm proud of those videos. And then I moved in to my apartment at school and reunited with my roommates. It had been more than 6 months, we got back into the swing of things. I'm the chair of our campus activities board this year, so I've been busy planning events, which has been super fun. I'm really thankful for the jobs that I have on campus. I also work in a costume shop. I also took a class called Speaking the Gospel. It was my intermediate theology course. And again, I got to write a type of book. I'm proud of my writing this year. It's a step in the direction that I want to pursue. I was able to get back on stage this fall in our school's production of Little Shop of Horrors, in which I played the urchin Ronette. It was so fun, and again, more connections were made. Like I said, this year was a traveling year. I went to Texas for a weekend. Hadn't been to that state before, and that was fun. I got to meet up with some of my intern friends while in Texas. Yeehaw! This year I saw some great movies. The Greatest Showman was in January. I saw Incredibles 2 when it hit theaters the night of. I saw The Hate U Give in theaters, and wow, emotions. Well done. And then, of course, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, that I took my siblings to over Thanksgiving. Harry Potter, yes, so magical. I read lots of books this year. I made my Goodreads goal, which was 20. I've so far read 25 books this year. Of all the books I read in 2018, Scythe and Thunderhead, wow. So good, 5 stars from me. Definitely give these a read. You will not regret it. This book came out in 2018. That's a big deal. I shared some great moments with my family and my friends. I had a wonderful holiday season. Got to sing a duet with my sister at Christmas. I'm hoping in 2019 to make a couple more videos than I did last year for this channel. I'm graduating next year. 2019, I am graduating, which is crazy to think about. This time next year, I don't know where I'm going to be. It'll be very interesting to compare this Eden to a year from now Eden, because there's so much unknown. But like I said, I've been dealing with that over the past year a little bit more, and there are opportunities that come from it that I just have to be open to. I definitely think about this year a lot. I don't think I will ever have a year like this again, but I look forward to what 2019 will bring. I am so thankful for my family and for those close friends that stick with me through all my ups and downs and traveling. So thank you. I hope you have a wonderful 2019. Until next time. And I have to say, of all the books, where are they? Aha.